What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video on Watching Sundays. We have a lot to discuss, so let's get to it.
We do. First, I want to talk about a recommendation that you had in a couple of videos ago for your anime corner, My Hero Academia.
I had a lot of recommendations.
Oh my goodness! I actually watched it this time.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna watch Black Clover Goblin Slayer next. But
interesting.
I totally got caught up into it. You know, when I looked at it and for the first episode, and I was like, I don't know if I can get into this anime because it seems like another high school drama type of anime with some action. But then I went into the second episode, the third episode. Man, it just pulled me in like a sucker. Like I am a complete sucker for not checking this out sooner.
Yeah, it's pretty popular.
If you are a fan of Naruto, then you would find the premise similar with My Hero. You know, it's kind of like a story about a boy who has difficulties blending in with the crowd or the popular kids at school. He has no abilities, but he has big dreams of becoming a hero. And man, like the similarities between Naruto and this one was all it took for me to buy in.
Yeah, the basic premise being he's underestimated his entire time there just because.
Yeah, and there's just so many iconic moments that make it so big, so grand.
Yeah.
When you first see All Might, it's just so whimsical. I mean, your head, you just get into it so fast. The big bad villains.
I think he says everything will be okay. Why?
Yeah,
because I'm here.
Because I am here. All Might.
So anyway, you did watch the Japanese subbed version.
I did watch.
There is a dubbed version.
I can't watch any anime when it's dubbed, so it's gotta be Japanese.
Okay, cool.
With subtitles. But guys, if you haven't checked it out yet, go now, and let us know. Come back to the video in the comments section below and let us know what you think.
To reciprocate the recommendation portion of this, I did start watching The Last Kingdom, which was one of your recommendations in an earlier episode.
Yes.
And just like what happened to you, I watched one episode.
Yeah.
I was like,
man, this is cheap.
Yeah, no, this is pretty cheesy, and you know the budget. You can see the budget in the first episode. It's very apparent that it's cheap.
Yeah.
But then like you get into the story, you get into the writing, and before I knew it, I was caught up. I think it took me a couple of days, actually. I think maybe 4 or 5 days to get all caught up in this series. And what I love about this series, The Last Kingdom, there are a lot of times where the protagonist is just so lucky throughout the entire series.
Yeah.
But what I appreciated about the writing on this series is that they throw obstacle after obstacle in his face, and then he faces adversity after adversity, and it seems like whenever you think he's gonna get his just desserts, like they pull the rug from underneath you, and all of a sudden he's like going down a rabbit hole somewhere. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but it's got some great writing. And by season 2 and 3, the budget is like Vikings almost like up to par with.
I mean, that's what was really really cool about it, because you kind of get into it. It kind of feels cheesy, and then you get into the second season, and then later on into the third season, the budgets get bigger and it looks a little bit more epic. The storylines get a little darker, and there's more characters they introduce into the scene, and
you get really heavily invested in the characters.
You know, Father Bayoka. I knew I recognized him from somewhere, but he's Professor Quiddle from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I mean, all the characters are great. The one thing I did start to get tired about was like how the Kingdom of Wessex continuously
like
stab him in the back or something.
It's not much of a spoiler, but yeah, like considering he's a Dane, right?
Yeah,
he was Dane raised, and then just like this is part of like all of the adversity that gets thrown at him. It's just like he does so much for them, and they just continually just see him for what he is, like on the surface. He's a half Dane. Yeah. But it's a great show, great writing. By the time you reach the second season and the third season, the budget kind of like reconciles itself. And yeah, it's a great show.
Let's go to the meter. And what about My Hero Academia? Let's do a meter for that one as well.
Okay. Alright guys, third thing on our list is Travelers. It's returned. It actually premiered on the 14th of this month, and if you haven't watched this show, it's an absolute hidden gem. It stars Eric McCormick from Will and Grace.
Will and Grace.
And it's basically a show that in the future there's this entity, there's this AI.
No, I've never checked it out. I don't know if I will.
You probably
but pitch it to me. Pitch it to me like in as concise manner as possible. Pitch it to our crew over there on the other side.
The Travelers, a director in the future. It's an AI program that has a plan to avert an extinction level event. So he sends back time travelers, known as Travelers, into the bodies of people in the 21st century, and they have to go from time to time, from moment to moment, to change history as the director sees it. And the director is like making all these algorithmic calculations as to which events have an impact on this extinction level event, and they have to deal with the authorities. They have to deal with the 21st century.
That's pretty cool. That made me a little bit more interested in it than your like 5-minute spiel about the show. That was really cool. I mean, it kind of reminds me from what you're saying is there's a little bit of Wanted with what's her name, Angelina Jolie and Morgan Freeman, like the director who's always like coming up with the plans or coming up with the hit list in that sense. And then the other part is kind of just like Minority Report / Time Cop kind of deal. Sounds cool. I don't know if this is a hidden gem or not, but it has been trending on Netflix. It's one of the most underrated shows that flies under the radar. And we know Aquaman is out in theaters fairly soon.
Yep.
Jason Momoa on Frontier. Jason Momoa is at his best when he's just this broody, like grizzly man. He's at his best when he's in that kind of character. I haven't seen Aquaman, but from what we've seen in Justice League, he's a little bit quirky as well, but this is like the Khal Drogo that you want from Jason Momoa. So I'm gonna try to give you a little bit of an elevator pitch since you did so well with Time Travelers.
All right, go for it.
Okay, ready. Frontier. It's an epic clash between the English and the New World. You know, obviously you're gonna have the savages, which they call savages. It's a fight of the fur trading routes in the northwest side of North America. You have the French, you have the Americans, you have the Native Americans, and then you have the English. And of course, the English are like the big bad devils trying to steal, kill, and operate in all illegal forms of manner to take control of the fur trade, which is a lot of money. And so you have Jason Momoa, who is a half Native American, half Englishman. He would be, yeah, of course. Who has seen some tragedies around his family and his close ties to the Native Americans. So obviously he's going to be the big protagonist, trying to quell and balance the scales between the English and the Native Americans. And all the characters kind of come in intertwined. There's big battles. There's a lot of very graphic violence with scalping, and like what's really interesting as well is that they implement, you know, the guerrilla tactics that the Native Americans employ to survive in those situations. It's really awesome. Lots of action. Jason Momoa at his best. He is like Khal Drogo ×3 in this one. So interesting. That, I mean, I've seen this in my feed a couple of times. I've always hovered over it as like I'll start it sometime. Yeah. But you know what? I think after I'm done with the Traveler Season 3, I'll check it out and hit you guys back with my review of it after I watch it. So yeah. Yeah, cool. My anime recommendation for this week is a quickie one. It's something that has just started airing on TV Tokyo in Japan. It's only up to episode 8 or 9, so it's still ongoing. It's called Radiant. It's another magical story. It's a world filled with fantasia or magic, and mystical, magical,
and it's filled with creatures called nemesis, and people who survive contact with the nemesis are cursed. and become sorcerers.
Okay.
And in turn, those sorcerers are nemesis hunters. So
Ooh.
they use their magic that they gain from surviving an attack to further hunt the nemesis. And it's called Radiant because the premise of the show is that a young boy who survives contact with the nemesis starts training to become a sorcerer under his master Alma. And so there's just a whole bunch of training, a lot of getting powerful, a lot of young shonen type of
where is this on Crunchyroll?
actions. It's on Crunchyroll, Verve, Hulu, Funimation.
Oh, Hulu.
And the entire crux of the whole thing, I mean, at least from what I've seen so far, is that he's trying to get to Radiant, which is a mythological place of birth where the nemesis comes from. So he's trying to eliminate the source of the nemesis. And along the way, you know, you go through his training montages and him getting stronger, and eventually he becomes a great sorcerer.
Ooh.
Hopefully. We haven't reached that point yet. It's still ongoing.
I am looking for an anime to watch after My Hero. So
You got a couple.
I'm gonna
You got
check.
a couple.
I'm gonna check this out. Like, it sounds a little bit more interesting for me rather than going to Goblin Slayer or Black Clover.
You should check out Black Clover first, only because there's so much for you to watch.
Oh.
Right? And so Radiant is new. There's not a lot of episodes to get into. You can't start a binge on Radiant and just end on episode 8 and be like,
Oh yeah, that would suck. That's what I hate about binging.
Goblin Slayer is also in the same boat, so you have a little bit more than Radiant, but you're still within a season and it's ongoing.
Okay.
So Black Clover, it just premiered its third season, but you've still got 2 seasons to watch beforehand.
Cool.
So Radiant, that's my recommendation for the week.
Awesome. Alright guys, that is it for us in this video. Leave your comments in the section below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And once again, you have a great and amazing week. We will catch you next time.
What do we have to discuss this week?
I definitely want to talk about...
It's, McCormick from some other show.
And I feel like it's a hidden gem because it doesn't get enough credit. It's...
My anime recommendation...
Recommend-
Oh,